Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, today we have another stories dealing with paranormal phenomena, from a haunted mansion to a ghost cat. We're going to enjoy ourselves once more and delve into the weird world of the paranormal. The first article we'll be reading is the Brim Deer Mansion. What's going on there? Let's hear about how this haunted mansion is, well, bewitched and absolutely covered in ghosts. So let's get into the article now and read exactly what is so haunted about this mansion. George Brumdeer Sr. made his fortune publishing German-language newspapers, reading material, and sheet music. He decided to use some of his hard-earned money to build a stately mansion in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for his eldest son in 1910, George Jr., and his wife, Henrietta, and moved in and had 11 children. Only 9 survived. George Sr. died in May of that same year. The Brimdeer family enjoyed living in this 8,000 square foot mansion for 10 years. When Henrietta died in the early 1920s, the mansion was put on the market. It was sold to a man named Sam Peck, his brother Ed, and their associates. Sam and Ed were affiliated with one of the Chicago gangster organizations, supposedly Al Capone's. Their main objective for moving to Milwaukee was to establish a nightclub as a legal front for their legal side businesses, which included black market liquor, gambling, and possibly prostitution. They decided to use the ballroom located in the basement for such endeavors. Sam expanded his speakeasy by moving it to an upscale building on Bluemond Road. He also opened the Club Madrid. It quickly became a popular hotspot known to be high-end nightclub, which served fine food and offered a variety of musical talent, dancers, and other unusual acts, and black market booze. The gambling tables were kept somewhere in the building, excluding ones used for high rollers. High-stakes gambling continued to be conducted in the ballroom. Liquor and in-house prostitutes were offered to these types of clientele as amenities. It is believed Ed was in charge of the high rollers area, but there is no evidence to prove this. Thanks to the repeal of prohibition and paying royalties to those who performed at the Club Madrid, Sam had financial difficulties, nearly losing the club after getting behind on the mortgage payments. However, he managed to rise above it, possibly by selling Brimdeer Mansion to raise some funds. The High Rollers gambling operation in the mansion ceased, and the secret tunnel leading to the basement sealed up with cement, all played in the Pick brothers' favor when they were arrested in the 1930s. Their illegal gambling operation was discovered at the Club Madrid, but they were only fined $1,000 and received no jail time. Although the Milwaukee mobsters weren't as kind, Sam was shot and wounded in the late 1930s, but managed to survive. When a stick of dynamite was thrown into his club in the 1950s, he took the hint and retired to Michigan. What happened to Ed Pick is unknown. An English couple brought Brimdeer Mansion sometime in the mid-30s and turned it into the boarding house for employees of a nearby company in the 1960s. It was bought by the neighboring Lutheran church to be used as a parsonage and for church activities. A psychedelic youth chapel was created on the second floor in what is now George's Suite. Other rooms were turned into offices, and the ballroom was transformed into a Christian coffeehouse, complete with a live music for entertainment called the Catacombs. There was a radio station in the Gold Suite. By 1990s, the upkeep needed for the mansion became more of a challenge for the Lutheran church. It had a bad roof, white walls, and a buckling ballroom floor. When the central heating system broke down, causing the pipes to burst, the church decided to put it back on the market. In 1997, Brimdeer Mansion was bought by Carol Hissich, who put a considerable amount of time and money to rehabilitate the Victorian mansion, turning it into a bed and breakfast. Its doors opened once again in 1998. It is now owned by Tom and Julie Carr, who purchased the mansion in January 2008 and still functions as a bed and breakfast. Brimdeer Mansion's haunted status went further unnoticed until Carol Hissage purchased it and began the restoration. It is believed the construction of various antiquities placed throughout the four-story establishment has led to the numerous spirits who now haunt it. Witnesses have heard voices and footsteps. An elderly female spirit known as Aunt Pussy or Susan occupies the gold room. A younger female spirit enjoys the third floor. A male spirit roams throughout the parlor, as well as George Brimdeer's suite where things would be moved around on their own. A door leading to the mudroom would lock on its own. There's supposedly a playful spirit in Marian's room. Witnesses have awoken by an unseen entity bouncing on the bed. A towel lifted off the hook onto the floor. A light on the fireplace mantel turns itself on during the early morning hours. All of this sounds very spooky, folks, but also very strange. It sounds like it was the fact that they did a restoration of this building that seems to have brought the activity on. Almost as if maybe the ghosts were unhappy with the building suddenly basically being altered, and perhaps this enraged them, causing them now to act out. Or is it the fact that maybe they brought something into the building is why it's now haunted? We don't know for sure, folks, but still kind of spooky and kind of fun to learn about. Either way, folks, let's move on to the next article, which is, equally as spooky. The woman is sure that she captured the ghost cat on surveillance video. Let's get into this article and then watch this video for ourselves, folks, because it's pretty spooky and kind of fun as well, folks. So let's now get into it and have a great time. Juliet Bird, a 53-year-old resident of England, is sure that a ghost cat was caught on a CCTV camera, reports Daily Mail. This incredible incident took place on July 13th in Essex. The video, taken by a camera in the backyard of her house, shows how an incomprehensible ghostly creature, similar in shape to its relative, follows the cat named Topsy. The emerging creature looked somehow disembodied, and Juliet immediately decided that her cat was followed by the ghost of his friend who had died a few weeks ago. Now, I have a few ideas about this, folks. I did watch the video, and it is pretty good, but I think there's a possibility that a mistake was made in it, but we'll leave off that until after we get through this article and look at the video for ourselves, folks. But either way, as you can see in the picture that was included in the article, you can see that there's this ghostly cat-looking thing following this white, I guess to me, white cat here, folks. It might actually be orange, and it's due to the fact that the video is black and white, but there's something following this cat, and it's kind of spooky. Either way, let's continue with this article now. The woman says that on the one hand, it is simply stupid to think so, but on the other hand, she cannot find another explanation for what her eyes saw. The phenomena of animal hauntings is nothing new. As long as there has been a belief in a spiritual realm, there has been reports of these fascinating ghosts. Ancient Egyptians held strong beliefs that their souls continued in the afterlife. And you can see that with the gods they believed in, folks, because they believed that even their gods had the heads of animals. So it's no wonder that they worshipped the cat itself, folks. So the fact that maybe animals having spirits as well and haunting the places where they lived when they were alive, that is indeed nothing new, folks, because we've heard a few accounts of people seeing animal ghosts before. But either way, folks, let's take a look at this video for ourselves, and then we can decide if it's real or not, or some sort of, digital illusion. Very interesting video, folks. Now, this cat is followed directly by this spiritual entity. But I would have to say, folks, there's a good chance that this was a digital mistake. Sometimes videos will basically, they'll screw up, and sometimes they'll make an after image. And the fact that this ghostly cat follows exactly the path of the cat it was following makes me think there was some sort of, just a digital after image of the cat. But there's a possibility that it could be real, folks, because I've seen cats follow each other, and it does sort of look like that as well, but I can't be for sure. I think there's a good chance that this was just a mistake, and this woman just jumped to the conclusion that it was a ghost. But maybe there is no explanation, folks. Maybe it is indeed what we're seeing here. It is the ghost of a cat following its friend when it was alive. But now, it's dead, and before it decided to pass on, it decided to basically follow its friend around like it did when it used to basically be alive. Still very interesting as hell, folks, but we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below or in the description to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell that will give you all future notifications. And please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.